the Munster, or the church here, construction was beginning in the 15th century, 1400s. So of course that's pre-Reformation. So all the beginnings of the construction are Catholic. In 1528, when Ulrich Zwingli and his group from Zurich came and held a disputation, the disputation was in the cathedral. No, I'm sorry. I'm already wrong on that. It was in the Rathaus. It was in the Rathaus. But the city council, at the end of the disputation, chose to go with the Reformation. And so certain things were changed in the inside, of course, the paintings, the icons, and so forth. But they did not change anything structural. So you have this very medieval display right at the entrance of the final judgment. A very medieval understanding of that. Isaac Zerker, who I was starting to talk about a little bit earlier, local Swiss Mennonite, has heard the Catholics talk about this Munster. The Protestants stole our church because the Catholics of Bern then had to build their own church and start over, a much smaller structure, and it's right beside the Rathaus. So they stole our church. However, my idea is, if you think of state church, if you're tied to state church mentality, that kind of is a risk that goes along with that. So did they really steal the church, or is that just a result of state church?
All this block on the front here looks new. That is replacement.
Could be. I've not done much reading. I've always, so far on our trip, I've tried to give mostly more spontaneous interpretations of things, but I want to take one here and just read it, because it's an interesting take on what has happened here. And let me get to the right page first of all.
Is this Sam Wanger's work?
Yes, Samuel Wanger's. There's a place where he tells about the soft stone that it was built with. I'll start with here, then I'll skip a little bit and pick up the story. The stone used in the construction of this cathedral was a soft sandstone that easily deteriorated with natural weathering. The sandstone needed to be replaced periodically to restore its surface. The natural sandstone used in the construction of the exterior walls was so soft that one can even scrape away the surface with a knife. In the wintertime, the water enters the crevices of the stone surface and freezes. This action breaks the stone particles apart, and the surface rapidly weathers away. Now, I'm going to skip up to another place. And again, this is from Isaac Zerker, this story at the Munster, the Berner Munster. In the mid-1600s, the State Reformed Church was very strong. On Sunday morning, the minister had to read from the pulpit any announcements and notices from the government. On one occasion, they read an order from the government that demanded the persecution of the Anabaptists. On the Sunday morning after the announcement had been made, a very heavy thunderstorm came over the city. The cathedral trembled, and a stone dislodged from the structure and fell down from the highest point, crashing into the chair that belonged to the mayor of the city. Fortunately for the mayor, he was not there that Sunday morning, and his life was spared, but his chair was broken into many pieces. Upon seeing this incident, the people said, "God is speaking to us." That is God's voice when the chair was broken. We are wrong. We should stop persecuting the Anabaptists. I'll stop at that point. However, the government explanation was also, God is speaking to us. That is God's voice that the chair was broken. We have not been successful in carrying out God's judgment against the Anabaptists. We need to buckle down and do harder and work harder and get that job done. So take, either way, they're agreeing God's speaking through this, but take your own side of what God's actually saying. I mean, does that sound, you've heard that kind of thing lately sometimes? Sure. Anyway, it happened here.